The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you. Or if you are new here, this is Aduba and you are welcome. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We are told that people discovered the continent and they are hailed for their discovery. They are seen as genius. But how can you discover a place that people were already existing? We were doing our own trade. We are farming. We have everything. We have our own political system. Like we have everything before these people came in. So today, these wise have a message to their brothers and sisters who claim that Europeans were the people who discovered us. You can never discover something that is already in existence.
You cannot discover a place that already has people living there. To the guy who said Africa was discovered by Europeans, let me teach you something. You don't discover a place where millions of people already lived, traded, built kingdoms, and developed complex systems long before Europeans touched African soil. When Vasco da Gama arrived in 1497, he didn't find wilderness. He found cities. He found the Swahili coast, Kilwa, Mombasa, Mapungubwe, civilizations trading with India and China centuries earlier. Only thing Europe discovered was its own greed. You didn't discover Africa. You invaded it. You renamed it. You redrew the borders. You enslaved and colonized. That doesn't sound like discovery. It sounds like theft. Why do we still believe this lie? Because history is taught from the perspective of the thief, not the victim. And that is why your textbooks lie.
South Africa was empty when Europeans arrived. That is one of the biggest lies ever told about African history.
There were no Africans that were native. There was a few, but not really. It wasn't inhabited because it was too cold down there for them.
Mm-hmm.
And
South
Africa, yeah. So when the white people went there, the British went there, they built something out of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And they had apartheid because they were getting attacked.
Let's break it down. Before a single European ship docked at the Cape, South Africa was home to millions of people. You had the San people, one of the oldest human populations on the entire planet. They have been living in southern Africa for tens of thousands of years. You had the Khoikhoi, skilled pastoralists with cattle, trade, and established communities across the Cape region. You had the powerful Bantu-speaking nations like the Zulu, the Xhosa, the Sotho, the Tswana, with kingdoms, governments, and economies that were thriving long before Europe even knew this land existed. Let's not forget, y'all thought y'all were going to India and ended up in Africa. So where did the empty land story come from? It was invented deliberately, a lie. Colonizers needed a legal and moral excuse to take land that wasn't theirs. They tell the same lie about Europeans settling in America, saying that there was virtually no one here when there were millions of natives here. If they admitted people already lived there, they'd have to admit that they were stealing it. So they called it empty. They called it terra nullius, nobody's land. The apartheid government later pushed a version of this myth even further, claiming black South Africans arrived at the same time as European settlers, which historians have completely debunked.